Well, Congresswoman, thank you so much for taking some time with us because I know, as you were saying before we started this, it has been quite busy. I want to first ask about the letter you sent earlier this week to Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth saying that you were concerned regarding the recent workforce reductions in the Department of Defense. And specifically, you said it's imperative the DoD follows through on the promise you were given.
Yeah. Yeah, as veterans, a lot of us who we join the military to serve our country, and then when we get out of the military, that transition, we still want to continue to serve. And for a lot of us, that means taking federal jobs and jobs with the federal government. So I especially am concerned when I hear from veterans in my district. We have such a large veteran population in the second district, but when some of these federal worker cuts are impacting the veteran population, we know that transitioning from service to civilian life can be challenging in a lot of ways, and a lot of them have retirement years that they're accruing and different benefits, and we want them to be able to keep those jobs. So I wanted to be we've always been an advocate for the veterans that live in our district and throughout the country. So when I hear from them and I hear that they're disproportionately being impacted by some of these cuts, we're trying to find a place that we can use our voice most effectively and with the biggest impact. So this was kind of a no-brainer decision to just let leadership know that, hey, please look out for this group of people. It's already, the burden of that transition, to put that on them again and to say, you may or may not have a job is not the right direction, especially for my district.
And I know, of course, in September, you went out and were speaking about the Hampton VA, saying whistleblower told you it only had one full-time anesthesiologist, critically low number of staff. Is it concerning that you see another announcement that the VA maybe cut more personnel?
Yeah, I'll say this about the VA. We've heard from especially providers over there, healthcare providers, not just in Hampton, but throughout the country. And veteran healthcare is, as a nurse practitioner, is a very important issue to me. So when I hear that nurses who have been at the VA a long time, physicians, other allied health professionals are getting letters saying that, we don't need your service anymore. You can take early retirement, or these probationary workers that are faced with cuts. That's absolutely not the right direction. I work so hard to incentivize healthcare professionals, especially nurses. We need those people. So the fact that we're sending mixed messages to them, it's not the right direction. That's why we have pushed back on it. As far as VA cuts, and there's a lot of room for improvement in the VA healthcare system in general. So I know that it takes a team to provide that good healthcare. Is there a place that we can maybe take a scalpel approach and tweak that system and maybe refine some of the positions? Probably yes. I think that that's the name of the game, right? And I think people voted for that in November. When we think of kind of overarching change that's happening in our country right now, they voted to get the government out of their lives, for less federal spending. We know what's been going on with the economy, and I think the end goal is getting the economy back on the right track, reducing inflation rates and interest rates. These are the mechanisms that we've been given, that this administration is trying to pursue to make that end goal happen. But there are certain places, the VA healthcare system is one of them, where I think we just need to take a more metered approach. And the other day, someone said to me, measure twice and cut once, and I think that's really the best approach to take. So that's why I try to use my voice when I can, not just as a nurse practitioner and as a veteran, but as a person who represents a VA medical facilities and again, this large veteran population.
So, work that Doge has done as far as the VA, is it fair to say you don't agree with the process?
Yeah, it's fair to say that we need to take a metered approach when it comes to veteran healthcare. I care about that, and I think we've been working on that. I chair the Oversight and Investigations Subcommittee, which is where we did a lot of that work at the Hampton VA. So, and I'm a nurse and a nurse advocate, and knowing how hard it is to get healthcare professionals in the door sometimes. So I just want to make sure that we are doing the right thing when it comes to not just the space in the VA, but when we're making these cuts.
And right now, you don't think that the right thing's been done 100% of the time.
Well, it hasn't happened yet. I mean, I too have seen the headlines, but we're waiting for that. What I can tell you is that I have healthcare providers like nurses, like doctors, who have been given some of the emails about the early retirement and about, the 5 things you did last week and whatnot. And I want to take a more metered approach with that group right now. And then Yeah, and I think we need to be careful. I think we need to be careful when it comes to just talking about the veteran affairs, just especially the healthcare piece. That's important to me.
Yes, I want to get to you the article that your staff you sent to me from the Hill in a moment, but first I want to go to another Hill article. Yesterday said that Republican senators in a closed meeting with Elon Musk said you need to start coming to us, and more or less saying that the Congress has been felt like been left out of the process, and it hasn't been easy to get questions answered. Does that resonate with you?
Yes, we have not been given, I don't get prior notice for a lot of the executive actions that coming out of the White House. We learn about that on the news too. So we're not voting on a lot of these issues. So, it's there are things happening that Congress has not been involved in, and that would be my ask too. I would echo the Republican senators that it would be I would appreciate, yes, that too, having a voice in the process.
Do you feel the current administration respects Congress?
I certainly hope so. We are a third branch of government.
But it kind of from what you were just saying is the communication and the authority. I mean, I'm sure you've heard there's a reporting that there's going to be an order to dismantle the education department, and of course, only Congress can do that. Are you frustrated with some of these orders that are coming down that some might say is Congress's responsibility, not the executive branch?
So Congress controls the purse strings, and there's nothing more powerful than that. And we are a third branch of government, and in our country, when we have three branches, and they all have equal power. So we intend to make sure that we exercise that power.
Does that mean possibly voting against the president's wishes for you?
I mean, we have to, I would say one thing at a time, right? I mean, if there's something that comes before me, I would have to look at that and then decide how to vote.
I want to get to the article in the Hill that I alluded to. Last time you and I spoke, you were with Senator Warner in the World Trade Center, and you were both frustrated. Another government shutdown was coming. That was the last one, not the one that's about to come. You proposed the same legislation again, and I can only guess that you are in the same era of frustration.
Yeah, this is the third time that we are facing a vote on a continuing resolution. It's also the third time in 3 years that I've introduced the Pay Our Troops Act. So every time we talk about a continuing resolution and the possibility of shutting the government down, I want to make sure that our military members and their families are protected first and foremost. So this bill that we have introduced before, and again, this is the third time we've introduced, it's at a lot of great bipartisan support, but it would ensure that our military members are getting their paycheck. It also includes the Coast Guard, which has been left out in the past when we've done this type of legislation. It also includes some federal workers. We have a huge federal workforce that helps support the military, and I want the military to be able to do their mission, and I want our families to just relieve that anxiety. They have bills to pay, they have food to put on their plates, and want to make sure that they know I have their back and that they will get a paycheck no matter what happens in Washington.
I'm sure you're well aware there's been calls for you to host a town hall in the district. Are you planning on doing that? And if not, why so?
So the better mechanism for me to reach more people is the teletown hall. We have consistently held teletown halls. We try to do them themed. We've had veteran theme ones. We've had senior citizen theme ones. We're going to probably do a tax theme one here coming up on tax time. It's a better way for me to reach thousands of people at once. And so that's what we plan to do.
Do you know when the next one of those is for you?
I will get you the date as soon as we have that.
And I know, I'm sure you've seen that there's been protests. Every congressional member in some districts have dealt with some of them. I know there were even somebody did a parade by your house recently. What do you make of some of these protests?
It's people have a right to practice their First Amendment rights, and that's exactly what we're doing, and we support their constitutional right to do that. And
Brad, we have to get into a meeting right now. Is it okay if we wrap?
Can I get one more question in?
Sorry, I think we gotta go. I'm the worst.
All
But
right,
let's talk again next week after we do this vote on the 14th. That's the deadline, the funding deadline. And I certainly hope the government is kept open. So would love to chat again after that.
are you still for possibly Congress not getting paid if these continuing resolutions aren't funded?
Yeah, if Congress, if if we shut the government down, Congress should not be paid. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, for me, but thank you. Good to
Awesome.
see
Thank
you, Brett. Yeah, we'll talk again soon. I'd love to talk next week if you have time.
All right. We look forward to it. Thank you so much, Congresswoman.
Thank you. All right, take care.